Hey, what is going on, guys? It's Young here, and today I'm back into a Fortnite video, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys the best aim settings to use here in Fortnite. Currently, I'm going to show you guys all the settings you guys should use if you want to strictly focus on having the best aim possible. These are going to be the settings that I recommend and that I would use that's going to really help improve your aim, and I'm going to show you guys all the reasons on why these settings specifically are so good and why you guys should use them as well. So make sure you guys do stay to the end of the video. And real quick, before we get into the video, I have a V-Buck giveaway. I give away V-Bucks every single Friday. So if you guys would like to enter this giveaway and win some free V-Bucks, all you guys have to do is to drop a like on this video. Make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you guys get notified for every single new upload and when I announce the winners every Friday. And lastly, make sure you guys put down your Xbox gamer tag, your PSN gamer tag, or Epic account down in the comment section below, and you guys will be automatically entered into the giveaway. And lastly, if you guys like to support me in the item shop, all you guys have to do, go down to the bottom right, hit on support a creator, type in my creator code, which is Young Humor, and you guys will have me added and supported as a creator in the item shop. And alright guys, let's go right to the video. Alright, so in this video, I want to be sharing with you guys the best settings to use if you are looking to improve your aim and hit a lot more shots, because these settings are extremely good on being a lot more consistent with your shots and just being a lot more accurate overall. So here, going into the settings that I have, I also want to really explain why I have specifically the settings that I do. So my building and editing is on a 2.0 with my X and Y, so my vertical and horizontal sensitivity both on 50. And before, I was recommending to be on to have the best aim, to be on maybe like a 45 or 46%, which I think is still very good. If you like that type of sensitivity, then you should keep on it. But the reason why I decided to use a little bit higher, I mean, if you think 50 is a little bit too high, you can definitely use something like maybe a 49%, or if you want a little bit higher, you can definitely go up to like 52, 53, 54, somewhere in that range. I think would be good as well. But the main reason being is because when it came to, I guess, just the meta of the season, it's really a box fight type meta. So you want to have a X and Y, so a horizontal and vertical sensitivity that's fast enough to where you can consistently hit flick shots over and over on the other player, and you can consistently being able to turn around very quickly, go in between other players very fast in a close quarter type situation. So I think playing on a little bit higher of a sensitivity in this season is a great thing to do and something you guys should use as well. Now, as far as the building and editing, it's both on a 2.0, and for me personally, it feels as if it's not as quick as something that I'm really used to, and the reason being is you want to play on a building and editing sensitivity that is a little bit more comfortable to play on, because if not, you're going to have something like I'm showing here where your builds and edits is going to be all over the place, which is going to make it significantly more difficult to line up the shot. So if you play on just a little bit less of a building and editing sensitivity, you're going to feel a lot more in control. So after you finish off of your edits, after you finish off your builds, you're going to be a lot more consistent on hitting your shots because your crosshair placement is going to be a little bit better. So I think that's going to be some of the best sensitivity settings to use here in this season. So the first thing is going to be your horizontal and vertical sensitivity. You want to be on a little bit on the higher end, and as far as your building and editing, you want to be a little bit on the lower end. You don't want to be too low because, like I said, box fighting is the meta, and sometimes you might actually prefer to be on a higher sensitivity. But the problem is, if you play on too high of a, say, an editing sensitivity, you're going to be overcorrecting your shots and your crosshair placement is going to be really bad. So you have to find a really good balance and a great sensitivity that can balance in between being, pretty quick when it comes to building and editing, but not being too fast to the point where your edits are all over the place, your crosshair placement's really bad, and that's really going to cause you to miss a lot of shots. And of course, with this sensitivity as well, playing on a little bit higher of an X and Y, it's going to make it significantly better for box fighting, for flick shots, and really any type of close range situation. So that's why I would highly recommend playing on a little bit higher of a sensitivity than you previously do. Of course, if you're on like a 60 or 70%, you probably don't want to go up any higher, but maybe raising your sensitivity up a couple points, you might be able to see a significant improvement on just how good you are when it comes to box fights, and that's going to win you so many games and allow you to just become a much better player here in this season. So going into my ADS sensitivity and my look dampening time, I currently play on 11 and 10% with a 0.05 look dampening time. I think this is a great sensitivity to use for aiming because I like 11% and 10% just because it's high enough to the point where this is really a good mid-range type of ADS sensitivity. If you want to go 100% close range, maybe you try on like a 12 or 13%. And if you want to go strictly long range, maybe you play on like a 9%. But I would recommend 11 and 10%. I think it's really good. Just a slightly higher X sensitivity is going to make it easier. So when you're going in between players left and right, you're going to be a lot faster at just moving in between players. So if you're playing duos and squads a lot, or maybe a lot of competitive, being able to move in between players very quickly could be a useful thing to have, and you can achieve that by having just a slightly higher X sensitivity. And the look dampening time that I have on, which was a 0.05, I really like that a lot, just because the look dampening time really helps out a lot if you're going to shoot shots from, range. If you're going to shoot shots from a longer distance, it's going to make it just slightly easier to line up your shot, especially if you play on linear settings, because with linear settings, it can be a little bit more difficult to hit shots from long range. So I actually would recommend having a little bit of a look dampening time. I've really been messing between having it on and off, but currently I do have it on, because I think it really can help out tremendously when it comes to hitting shots from range. So that's what I would recommend to have as far as those sensitivities if you want to have the best aim possible. And as far as my dead zones, I plan a 9% on both. Now, I do recommend, if possible, to play on below a 10 for your dead zone if you're in the single digits, but at least try to play below a 15%, because anything above that to me feels a little bit not necessarily laggy, but it feels like it just feels a little bit slower and a little bit more delayed. I think that's like the best way to put it. So you want to play on as low dead zones as you can. Of course, lowering your dead zones too much could add some stick drift, but you want to play on as low as you can because it's going to make your controller feel a lot more responsive. And if you have a lot more responsive, more of a responsive feel on your controller, you're going to have a much easier time lining up your shots. And of course, playing with lower dead zones is going to help out tremendously with building and editing as well, which could be a huge advantage to getting a lot more wins this season, because just face it, the amount of sweats that I run against is absolutely insane. I run against people all the time that constantly just crank 90s up to sky limit, and playing on a lower dead zones gives me a lot more control over my builds and edits, which really doesn't have anything to do with aiming per se. I mean, it definitely could, but being able to have a lower dead zone just gives you a big boost on building and editing. So if you are looking to improve your high ground retakes, builds, and edits in this game, trying to lower your dead zones as much as possible could in fact be a big change and a really good help for a lot of you players. So like I said, try to play below a 15, but if you absolutely can, I would highly recommend playing in the single digits. So anything below a 10% is going to be a really great sensitivity you should use, and I highly recommend for you guys to use it. So those are pretty much all of the sensitivities that I have that I would recommend for you guys. If you are looking to have the best aim possible, definitely give these settings out a try. But the main takeaways is you want to play on just a little bit higher of an X and Y sensitivity, just because it helps you out a ton when it comes to hitting more flick shots and just being really accurate in close quarter situations, box fights, and things like that. But at the same time, you want to play on just a little bit lower of a building and editing. You want to go a little bit more towards the smooth side than fast, just because if you want to have the best aim, you can have problems with overcorrecting. If you have your sensitivity too high for editing, you can over edit, and that could be a big mistake, because then you have to go for like a crazy flick shot just to line up your shot again on the other player, and you're going to be missing a lot more shots. So that's really the main takeaways as far as hitting the most shots and improving your aim with the sensitivity that you have. So with that being said, that's a wrap it up for this video. If you guys found this video helpful, if you guys enjoyed it, make sure you guys do drop a like. Make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Hit the notification bell so you guys get notified for every single new video and upload. And as well, do live stream every single day on the channel at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you guys hit that bell so you guys will get a notification when I go live on this channel. But with that being said, I really appreciate you guys watching the video. And alright guys, I'll see you next video.